maybe you need to turn around. Okay, Richard again. Following up really on you may have seen the other video I posted about where do I add a value. Well, perhaps to complement that, where do I get the most joy? And so there is a counterbalance in everything we do, isn't there? So there's a give and a get. So giving value is the subject of the previous video, and if you didn't see that, perhaps have a look at that. So what do I get? What do I get out of it in terms of joy? What's the reward? What's the payoff? Well, that's an interesting question, isn't it? Why do I do what I do, essentially? And who do I do it with? So what do I do? And who do I want to do it with? So in terms of what do I do, from a property investing and developing mentoring point of view, mouthful that, isn't it? But from a mentoring point of view, my area of focus, of course, is property investing. And I guess there's two key areas that I really like and enjoy working with. One is what I call the startup situation, and the other one is what I call the turnaround situation, which I can summarize as new beginnings. So new beginnings, so new for you. So if you've got nothing or close to nothing in terms of property investments, then that's startup situation essentially. So that's a new beginning in that context. And if you already have something, not necessarily just in property, but in life, maybe you're a little bit further down the track. Maybe you need to turn around. Maybe you want to change the direction. Maybe you're fed up. I work with a lot of people who've achieved a lot of success 10, 15, 20, 25 years in, and they want to change the direction because they're fed up. I was in that situation myself, actually, roughly 10, 15 years ago, having spent, about 30 years, actually, building a career, building businesses, building consulting interests, and achieving a level of success, but wanting to change the direction that suited me. I call it going with the grain or going with the flow. So yeah, they're the two situations, but why? Why do I enjoy those situations? Well, I guess it's summarized in a more emotional way. It's sort of, it's when I see that beaming smile that just comes on someone's face, when they get that dawning, that realization that they can achieve what they want to achieve in life. I get a real buzz out of that. I get an even greater buzz seeing it happen, seeing it being realized. So one is the initial thought or the idea or the emotional connection to, I can do this, I can achieve what I want to achieve. That's the first kick. The second kick is to watch them actually start to implement that and see them start to achieve that in their life. And of course, there's an emotional connection there as well. So we've got this sort of rational thought idea, we've got an emotional connection, and then we've got the practical reality as it unfolds over time. So I get a real buzz and a real kick out of seeing that in people, and I strive for that, and it gives me a lot of joy, a lot of pleasure to witness that in people I work with. So I'm hungry for that, and I love to see it, and I'll work really hard to make sure that happens with the people I work with. And the second element is who. So who do I want to work with? I've got a very simple test here. I call it the beer test, or the coffee test, if you prefer non-alcoholic version. But basically, could I go for a beer or a coffee with that person? Could we have a conversation? Would it be interesting? It doesn't mean that we have to see the world the same way or identically, etc. But could we have a good conversation? Is there an element of interest there? Equally, are there some shared values? I see the world in a certain way, and I like to work with people who don't necessarily see it identically to me, but see it in a similar way to me. So there's got to be a personal connection. And that involves some personal, some shared values. And I think the third element is basically got to be a nice person. I don't really want to work with people who are not nice people. And so, in fact, I won't. I won't work with people who are not nice people. So, and in fact, I've deliberately avoided that, at financial costs and financial loss in the past. So I think they're the main things: the beer or the coffee test, the shared interests and values, or well, not necessarily shared interests, but something interesting that we can talk about, and then the shared values, and then finally, of course, finally, of course, the idea that I need to check my notes. Right at the end of the video, I lost my train of thought there. So, essentially, it's I'll have to look at it. Nice person. That's it. I can't believe I forgot that. So anyway, there you go. And I guess, to be fair, I'm going to leave this in the video. because this is real, okay? So this isn't polished. I'm not dressed in a sort of fancy way. You can see there's things in the background in my office environment here, some paintings that need to be put on the wall as we recently moved. And I've just made a boo-boo in my video. So it's about being authentic, it's about being real. And so that's also part of the joy. I like to work with other people who are authentic and real, and I can make a connection with. So there is a purpose in me making a bit of a boo-boo. Thanks for watching this far. I hope you too get some joy out of what you do.